Hi, this is Joe again with another review. For the sake of this video, I'm going to be discussing the 1986 film Stand By Me, starring Will Wheaton, Jerry O'Connell, River Phoenix, and Corey Feldman. Of course, this film was also directed by Bob Viner, who was, I think it was one of his first movie that came ahead. And also, the movie also mentioned Keith Sutherland in a small role. Of course, this film is also based on a Stephen King short story of the same name. Of course, the movie is pretty basic. I mean, it's not really one of these tremendous horror films that Stephen King has been known for. It's basically a story about four friends. Like I mentioned, played by Jerry O'Connell. That man was fat then. Now you look at Jerry, I believe that he was a fat kid 35 years ago. But it was Jerry O'Connell, Will Wheaton, before pre-Star Trek Next Generation Will Wheaton. And what's as annoying in this movie as it was in Star Trek Next Generation television show. River Phoenix and Corey Feldman as four friends who this movie is based in 1959, when they all go and they found there was a rumor there was a dead body of this missing kid, and decided to go and look for it, and see if the story is true or not. That's the basic story of this thing. And the movie was narrated by Richard Dreyfuss, who you do see in the beginning of the film and the very end of the movie. And he plays the older version of the Will Wheaton character. So it goes to show you where Richard Dreyfuss comes in. And of course, this movie is basically this four kids walking through, making this trek to first of all, how in the hell they know where the dead body is? That's the one major nitpick. And two, if the story was true, how come no one ever went to the cops before then? Which they eventually did. Somebody did actually call the cops and told them where this body is. And that's basically it. I mean, it's nothing really that great of a story. It's just merely the journey of these four kids take to get to where the body is. And there is some iconic scenes in this film, like when they're getting chased by the train. They're walking down these train tracks because they figure that's the fastest way to get to where the body is, and they know the timing of the train, so that way they won't have to worry about possibly getting run over by a train. And they do eventually get chased by this locomotive that doesn't stop. The notification on my phone never stops. So they do get chased by this train, and they all jump off the tracks. And the other iconic scene is when the four boys, they all go swimming, and they all get leeches stuck to them all over their bodies. Now, Will Wheaton's character has one leech on his, let's put this way, his male anatomy. And when he finally gets the leech off him, which of course is off camera, he faints, he passes out. So those are the scenes, the two scenes that everybody recognizes, plus the basic plot of the four boys looking for a dead body. As a matter of fact, this movie was spoofed on an episode of The Simpsons. Fortunately, not one of the Halloween shows, but on a regular Simpsons episode, which Halloween shows are all regular Simpsons episodes. I don't care what anybody says, but that's basically the gist of this movie. And so it's not really it really has to do with the four boys telling their backstories to each other and stuff, and that's basically it. It's like kind of like a human interest story movie. But thankfully, this movie is not very long. It's about maybe an hour and 35 minutes long, or an hour 40 minutes. It's really quite short for a film. Luckily, if this thing was like maybe a 2-hour movie, people would get disgusted and maybe say how boring it is. I mean, this is the first time in a long time I've seen this movie and I was bored to I was completely bored to tears. I mean, couldn't remember. I didn't remember how boring this movie actually was, and it was. This movie was very, very boring, and of course it got some renewed interest in the actual song "Stand by Me," which was played during the closing credits of the film, and of course other songs that was popular in the time the movie is based in, which is 1959. You know, the soundtrack for the movie is what really sold this film, and Rob Reiner's direction of it. And of course, everybody went gaga over River Phoenix, who within about like five or 6 years later happened to die of a drug overdose, and that's what people remember the movie because River Phoenix was in it and he died of a drug overdose. People went gaga over River Phoenix, comparing him to he was like the Leonardo DiCaprio of the 1980s. And everybody was going gaga over River Phoenix, and then when people found out that he was a drug addict, you know, the raves went downhill, especially when he passed away. And not disparaging his memory and his ability as an actor, but the drug addiction that he had took away his mystique for me. But the movie itself, I know I'm dragging this thing out because, and I don't have that much to say about the movie Stand By Me, other than the fact that it's not that great of a story. I mean, it's not that interesting of a story. The premise might be interesting, but to see it on the screen, or either a movie screen or a television screen, whatever, it's not. It's a boring story to see put up on the screen. And reading it is maybe one thing, maybe interesting to read it, but to see it on the screen, it's a boring movie. It's boring, and you have 4 young actors who I consider boring actors. Well, now they're not, of course, not bad to look. You know, if you go that way, they're not bad to look at. These 4 young guys who turn out to be made, old girls are going gaga over, but that's because girls are going gaga over these 4 young guys. Does that mean that it's a good movie? I mean, that's right. That's because they have 4 good-looking guys, or they 3 looking guys who are a fat kid who turned out to be a good-looking guy like years later. But that doesn't mean it's a good movie. And Stand By Me is not a good movie. And it's boring as hell. And unless you're going to be a Stephen King fan or a fan of Rob Reiner's movies, then I suggest you check this movie out. But you really see the much better movies that Rob Reiner's directed, like The Princess Bride and The Few Good Men. If you want to see a good, and of course Harry Met Sally, those are the 3 best movies that Rob Reiner has directed. Unfortunately, he hasn't directed a movie since then, since The Few Good Men, but those are the 3 Rob Reiner movies I recommend: Harry Met Sally, Princess Bride, and Few Good Men, and skip Stand By Me. So that's my review of the movie Stand By Me. Please click on the video, please rate it. Feel free, please subscribe to my channel. Please follow this video onto your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews on my YouTube channel at RowdyC.com. That's all WDY. RowdyC.com. That's the homepage of the Rowdy Reviewer. Christine Moore. Please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.